I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the AFL Enjoyers team. We're a bunch of unique individuals, Matsa, Sfenda, and Dean. We're going to engage with our minds and our hearts. We're going to exchange ideas, thoughts, and even our energy. And to speak from your heart, you need to have courage. You need to be honest and authentic. We're not always going to get it right, and sometimes you're not going to agree with us. But that's okay, because just like you, we care. Just like you, we're passionate about the game. So if you want to come along for the ride, join us at the AFL Enjoyers podcast, because we really enjoy the footy. Hello and welcome back to the AFL Enjoyers podcast. My name is Dean, joined once again by two fellow enjoyers of the AFL, James Matsa, George Sfenda. How's it going, guys?
I'm not an enjoyer of the AFL, mate. Let's just start the pod off on the right tone. I hate my team and my life.
George, I was a bit worried about you, mate. You went MIA from all group chats since Friday night.
Yeah.
What did you guys think when you just started sending stuff and there was no response?
I thought, I don't know, maybe this guy, surely he's not going out. You don't go out.
No,
so it's just he's just not there's no footy.
I was ready to call Triples. We were get a welfare check. I wasn't sure what was
Honestly,
going on.
I could have used it, actually. I probably could have used it.
Next time.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can understand why it's been a rough week. We'll get into it. Before we did get into the rest of the pod, though, I did want to just mention 100 subs. George will race Bo McCreary. We're getting really close now.
He was looking quick today, by the way.
He was.
He's been training.
You reckon?
I should probably start moving.
You probably should.
Matsa says I don't leave the house. I should probably leave it for some exercise or something.
A little bit. At least warm up the hamstrings, you know what I mean? Because they've been a bit tight, apparently.
They have been.
He's made claims, so
Word around town is dead.
We'll make it happen. Yeah. We're almost there. So yeah, hit the sub button if you haven't already. And what we wanted to do today actually was get into some listener questions. So thanks very much for everyone that sent those through. We had a couple questions from John Lev. So shout out to John, big friend of the pod.
Absolutely.
Fellow enjoyer.
Johnny Lev.
Yeah, he's a fellow enjoyer of the AFL. So he says, should players have names on their shirts, on the back of their shirts, I would assume?
I'm going to go with a yes. I like being that we're soccer fans, so we kind of like seeing the names on the back of the jerseys. Bit of a personal touch, add something to it.
NBA as well.
NBA. Oh, they do the name. Of course, they do names as well. Yeah. I reckon the players can choose what they put on the back as well. Maybe maybe do some nicknames, AFL approved nicknames and stuff. I think it's a good idea.
What about you, George?
I'm impartial to it, but I'd probably say no.
Why is that?
Well, I think you want, if you know the person by number, right, you're almost rewarding loyalty of fans that they know. And I guess it makes it harder for people to get into the game, but stuff them.
This dude doesn't want the growth of the game at all.
You can tell I'm angry this podcast.
Jeez, man.
He's throwing hooks 5 minutes in.
Oh no, I like it, Georgie.
No, look, honestly, I don't mind. I've never really thought of it. They do it for the training jerseys, don't they?
Yeah, Collingwood had some training jersey before the game today, and I quite liked it. I don't know. I think, you can easily identify who the players are if they change their number. Just all the more reason for the AFL to make some money off another jersey sale. So
yeah, true. I guess the only thing is, say if you bought a 35 day cost jersey, right, and then he doesn't have that number anymore, which is not going to happen. Then the next season, say it has the name. That's a
good point. The longevity.
Yeah, because it has the name and the number, and then all of a sudden he's changed number, and you've got a new guy with that jersey. It's kind of a bit, delayed.
But also could improve the value. Like NBA, again, I'll reference the NBA. Yeah. There's a different market for rookie cards. You would know, Matsa.
Yeah. Or even different jersey numbers, like Kobe 8.
Yeah. And 24.
Kobe 8s, and was it LeBron 6?
LeBron 23 to 6. So
yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair call, actually.
If they can do it, they're massive superstars of global sports, really. I think the AFL can deal with Dacos maybe changing his number from 35.
It is cool, though, when you go to the footy and you see an old jersey and it's got a number 2 and you're like, is that Andrew Walker? Andrew Walker was number 1. Who was number 2? Whoever it was that Paddy Down now? You don't know. I'm
sure there's heaps of Paddy Down.
Yeah, Paddy Down.
Here's another one, right? Maybe even jersey retirements. Would that? I don't think it would work because there's just so many players in an AFL system. But if someone was really, really good, retire the jersey number. Say Boomer Harvey 29, retire jersey number.
But then it's also a nice moment when he gave his jersey to Will Phillips. It's kind of nice.
True.
So
passing of the torch.
Yeah, it can go both ways though.
Yeah,
I get the point.
Good question from Johnny.
Yeah, excellent question. He had another one actually as well. So this is a bit of a funny one. If you could play in any AFL era, which would it be? And then follow-up question, who would you beat up?
Look, my first thought is I'd play now, and I would fight Caleb Daniel because I think there's a chance I'd win. Because we're kind of the same size. I might be a bit taller.
He's taken down Darcy and Max Gawn, mate. He slung them both.
Hey, well then it'll be a nice little underdog story for me to get him. You know what I mean? Like
I like it, Matsa.
yeah, like
Would you wear a helmet as well?
No, not needed.
Not needed.
Not needed, man. No. Come on, what do you think I am, man? Yeah, that's my
a good
answer.
one. What about you, George?
Well, I saw that question and I just went to when Carlton was successful.
Okay.
So they got the three-peat in 1906, 1907 and 1908.
Wow.
And then they won another flag in 1914 and 1915. So I reckon...
So who are you fighting from that era?
That's right. I'm fighting in World War One.
Okay.
That's what I'm fighting. So I win a couple of flags. I develop my body. Then 1914, 1915, I win another 2 flags. Then I fight for the Anzacs.
Hey, I don't think that... Wait, was that the Anzacs World War One?
Yeah.
I think it was 2. This isn't a history pod, so
Anyway.
we don't know. We'll get back to you.
No,
I thought Anzacs was just World War Two.
One, I think.
that's one. Gallipoli.
I don't know. Obviously, I know nothing about history, but there you go.
There you go. Oh, that's funny, George.
That's good.
Mate, 3-peat in 05. Oh, 04, 05, 06.
06, 07,
06,
08.
07, 08. Wow. Jeez.
And then
How
they
many
won-
teams? There's like 3 teams in the
But
league.
how funny is it? How funny is it that they won in 14 and 15 during World War One? Like everyone's out fighting. They're like, oh, we'll just kick a couple of goals while they're not looking.
That's it.
Plastic cup, plastic club. I was thinking about it. I think I'd go early noughties. That's when I sort of really started enjoying the AFL. And then similar to Matsa, I thought, who could I take on from that era? I decided on Kade Simpson.
Hey, fair call, man.
Similar build, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I might have a few centimeters of height on him. So
No,
you reckon?
No,
Nah, he was
How tall is
he
he?
was pretty tall. I reckon he
I'm
was
178. Is he taller than me?
He used to be arrogant. He used to be 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah, I don't
He
think
he wasn't short.
6 foot, Kade Simpson. Really?
I don't think he was short. He was just skinny.
Yeah, I don't think he's that short, man.
Yeah.
I might be in trouble then.
Yeah, no. But no, I think it's a good shout though. Like, because otherwise, there's not really any smaller.
Matthew Lappin, maybe. Can I change it to him?
Skinny or skinny lapping.
Just give me a skinny boy.
Yeah.
All good. All right, bit of fun there. Now, a bit more serious news. Damien Hardwick left during the week. So I think he quit the day after we recorded, so we couldn't talk about it last week.
Yeah, man. They time put in news so badly, man. Like, come on, man.
I know. Break the news when we're recording. Man.
Exactly. Can you imagine live news on the pod? Like, Damien Barrett that'd be cool.
We'll have Damien Barrett on, mate. Big friend of
Yeah,
the pod.
true,
he is,
man.
yeah.
True.
But
If
yeah,
he says that, it's probably not real, mate.
yeah, true.
Have you seen the photo with him and his dog?
No.
So there's a photo of him on his couch, with a beer watching the game.
Oh,
And he
Hardwick,
has this
sorry, yeah.
huge like golden retrievor. We're gonna have to have the golden retriever on as
Yeah,
well.
you can sit next to me.
That's it, man. Dino, the lover of animals.
Dog lover.
Dog
enjoyer.
lover.
He wouldn't have
Damn.
liked watching his ex-team play, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we'll talk about them specifically.
I
a
would
bit
have done
later,
this.
but
I would have done that, surely.
Maybe. Well, they weren't doing too well while he was there, anyways. But what do you guys make of Richmond's outlook now that he's gone? Do you think he'll coach again this year, next year, at all?
I think he'll coach again. He's not that old. He's got to do something with his life, right? That's what he's been doing for 13 years. So unless he's got something in his mind that, he really wants to do, I think he'll get the itch again.
Mm.
Maybe he can take over Carlton's job when
I was
Voss...
going to say, man.
Yeah, and I think I was going to say that as well. Yeah, we're all you're ready to get onto it. We're all ready to get
Well,
on
speaking
the
of
Voss,
that,
Voss the Carlton.
our good friend John Lev had another question. We might as well mention it now.
Yeah,
Voss out. Surely his days are numbered.
I agree, man. It's not working.
So if Vossi gets the sack, let's say, and then you instantly hire 3-time premiership coach Damien Hardwick, you mean to tell me you wouldn't be happy?
Well, I like Damien Hardwick because he's honest. He doesn't fluff around. So I like that in a coach because Carlton hasn't had that for a couple of years where they just kind of say what they feel. Like if they were bad, well, shit. Yeah, Cripps can't kick. Like, you might say something like that, which is kind of refreshing. But I don't think Voss will leave, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. Well, seeing as though we're on the Carlton subject now, talk to me, George. Like I said, you did go MIA from all chats Friday night. I was worried about you.
Yeah, no way you were watching this game. No way.
I think he was.
Well,
He must
watching
have
the
been.
Carlton game,
No.
Friday night. What else? Come
You
on.
actually put yourself through that?
I thought about turning it off. I didn't.
Hmm.
I'm telling you now, if this
Bravo.
podcast didn't exist, I would not watch footy for the rest of the year. I'm so over it, man. My Supercoach team sucks. My actual team sucks. I'm sick of it, man. I'm honestly sick of losing. It's just ridiculous.
Draft team's gone all right, man.
Yeah, but I lost this week. But the thing is, like, we expected some proper things from Carlton this year. They haven't just been mediocre. But they're a bottom 5 team.
They've been yeah, that's the thing. They're not been the same or slightly better.
How was Carlton in there with North Melbourne and Hawks? Like how? Bro, how?
Yeah, I don't know.
You tell me,
I don't
man.
know.
What's going on?
I thought about it. And I realized that actually Carlton has a good plan, not a bad plan. They just haven't told the footy world about it. So what they're doing, right, is they're tanking for Harley Reid as well.
They're joining in. Hey, back off his hours, man.
They think they can win a flag next year with Harley in the team.
Oh my gosh!
But they just haven't told, in the annual report that they intend to lose every game this year.
You could really use him, to be honest. He's got that X factor forward of the ball.
I don't know what we need, man. If you're looking for expert analysis, I've got one for Michael Voss. Bomb at long more.
Bomb at long more. Wow.
Yeah, more, even more.
Well, you know what? Another good friend of the pod, Johnny Cap, sends in a question saying, "What would you do to fix Carlton?" So, what is your honest thoughts of what needs to change? And I'll give my thoughts in a moment, but something clearly is wrong. You're not scoring. You're beating teams that are low on the ladder lately, like just West Coast lately. You beat North.
West Coast and North.
Lately, since the first 2 rounds, where you drew and beat Geelong.
And
That's about
GWS.
it, right? And that was not really easy. So what's going on? Like, what would you do to fix it?
Look, it's not obvious because the Michael Voss and his team are professionals that do this day in, day out. So, there has to be something deeper than just, hit your targets. But sometimes it isn't. Now, a lot of the rhetoric has been about, Carlton missing points, and if they had been more efficient in front of goal, then maybe they would have won. But I don't like buying into that because what I would like to see is a method or a game style that makes you excited and you feel like has the potential to win. And that's just not what Carlton's doing at the moment. I said before, bomb it long. I think they're the most predictable team in the competition at the moment, Carlton. They kind of build the ball up from the back line with some kicks. They'll turn it over and it'll go the other way. If it doesn't, they'll get to about the wing or the half forward line and they'll just bomb it to Charlie and expect him to take a mark on 4 people. And he's pretty good. And sometimes he does it. Right, but most of the time he doesn't because he's not God, right? And the thing about Sydney is they have all these injuries in the back line and Carlton still couldn't get marks. Like, they're trying to expose the weak backlines of Sydney and they're not because they're building it up so slowly and so predictably that the whole Sydney team gets into the forward line for Carlton and makes it so congested that no one can take a mark there.
It's actually crazy how you only scored 51 points against that Sydney
From
defense.
50 inside 50s. So there's no method. And then I'm sure if we looked at some replays, we'd find that, they could have taken the shorter option, but they didn't. They could have hit the player on the 50, but they didn't. If you're playing against Carlton, you know that they're going for Curnow or Mackay. You know that. You don't even have to watch the ball. They're getting closer to 50. All right, where's Curnow? All right, target him. That's it. Like, how is this professional football, man? So I'd probably fix that. Maybe look at some other options, but just I don't know. There's so many things that are going wrong, man. It's wild.
I was say, speaking of wild, Mackay's kicking as well. Like, I feel I don't like harping on it, but like, it's bad.
It's shocking.
Is there? Here's a bit of a. I don't know if this is a bit amateurish of me to say, but swap him and Wiedering.
I was just thinking that as soon as you mentioned it.
Because Harry Mackay is brother of Ben Mackay, apparently. And Ben Mackay's a pretty good defender.
And he can't kick either, let's be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Wiedering, at least he can create a contest and probably not shank it every time he has a set shot.
Look, I think it's a reactionary move and it's kind of like giving up. Like, let's not forget, Harry Mackay is a Coleman medalist, right? He's got the yips this year, right? But in his history, he hasn't been a bad kick. He did start doing the snapping around the body over the last couple of years. It hasn't been a total disaster. It's a disaster this year, but I think the other point I had, and Matsa kind of led into it, is Harry Mackay's got this confidence issue, but I think Carlton as a club has a confidence issue, and they just can't handle the pressure. So there's pressure on Carlton this year to play finals and finally take that next step that they failed to do last year. And it's almost like any pressure on them kills them. And it's like it must be a club-wide thing. They're not winners, they're losers. Cripps, Doherty are losers. Mark Murphy, Bryce Gibbs, Cruiser, Simpson, losers. They've been losers for 20 years. These guys don't know how to win. And there's something deeper that does not allow this team to win. And that's why you say Voss out. What's Voss out going to do, man? Bring in Hardwick, you'll burn him. Bring in Clarkson, you'll burn him. But at the same time, all right, if swapping the coach doesn't make a difference, fine. But then again, how can it not be coaching when the method is so poor? And we've seen what Carlton can do. We've seen what Cripps can do. Last year, he won the Brownlee. It was amazing. Wittering has been the most solid defender all his career. Now he's turning the ball over every 2 seconds. They're just Harry Mackay's a common medalist that can't kick can't even remotely get near the goal. Like the players are falling apart, and it must be a culture, confidence, coaching, and something higher, something that surrounds the board of. Maybe it's something to do with the fact that Carlton looks at things more in a business way and less in a football way or something.
I don't know, man, but what you just said there was a losing culture. I think that's where, and obviously it's a situation that's been thrust upon us with Hardwick being available as a coach, but that guy's won 3 premierships. So you'd think if that's part of the problem, having that losing culture, at least if that was to happen now, end of the year, at least that's maybe showing some intent to try and bring in more of a winning culture.
And he would have recruiting pool as well.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. Like, he can be like, hey, I'm trying to think, who's a Richmond player who's maybe on the fringes a little bit? I don't know. Let's say Jack Ross or something. You've played in this winning system, come down. Or, I don't know, Baker. Let's give you, we're going to give you a consistent role here. We're not going to just be moving you around every week.
Just from other
Stuff
clubs
like
as well.
that.
I mean, he's recruited well, like Tom Lynch, Taranto, Hopper. Like,
Yeah.
if you need if there's a hole in the team, you need to fill it. I'm sure he would have better pulling power.
If Hardwick was at Carlton, Taranto probably would have gone there instead of Richmond. I'm
Maybe.
pretty sure you guys had interest in him, didn't you?
I don't know.
Or maybe that was actually, that might have been a few years ago, but anyway.
Whatever the case is, I think there might have to be a little bit of a minor rebuild again to kind of flush out some of these players that look like they're good on paper but aren't, like McGovern, Jack Martin, Fisher,
I didn't expect you to say Fisher because you love Fisher.
Who else? Who else is a good example? These type of players that, have the potential but never ever show it. Well, you've been in the system for how long? Go away.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy, man. I saw this one post from 7 AFL on Facebook, and some of the scores, like total scores of the team, compared to the inside 50 count, is absolutely mind-blowing. Just as a few examples, so from round 5 onwards. So round 5, you won the inside 50 count against the Crows, and you lost by, 56 points. You, again, only had a few less inside 50 versus the Saints, lost by 3 or 4 goals. Against the Lions, same inside 50s, lost by 3 or 4 goals. Doggies, same inside 50s, lost by 20 points. Magpies, same inside 50s, lost by 30-odd points. Swans, beat them in the inside 50s, lost. And you're scoring about 50 to 70 points in these games.
That's
you just can't score the ball.
And our score from stoppages like that is low. So if we're winning contested ball, which we can still do, they're not scoring. They did that last year. They were high from that. And, midfielders like Cripps kicked like 23 goals last year. Yeah, I think he's kicked 1. Walsh is fine. He's kicked a couple of goals. He's only been back for a couple of weeks. All of the other midfielders, Hewitt, Chera, Kennedy, how many goals have they scored? So they're not getting scores from midfielders. Then our forwards, other than Curnow, because Kernow's elite, he's just making things happen because out of pure talent, not out of system. And he did that last year. None of our smalls get involved. They're never at the drop of the ball. And there's nothing is right about this team.
Well, midfielders score goals when A, they work hard to get in the 50, and B, the team as a whole philosophy lowers the eyes and hits the easy target. So you're obviously not doing either of those things. Anyway, it's pretty bleak, mate. We should touch on the Swans just briefly. I mean, big win considering they're up against it, trying to make the 8, lots of injuries. I was watching the end of the game and it didn't look like they did anything special though. Carlton was just really bad. And they just punished you with a few goals, pulled away.
Can I just give flowers to Blakey for that crazy run through the middle of the ground?
Nick Blakey.
Yeah,
of course
I'm sure that was on your notes, man.
Of course we can give flowers to Nick Blakey.
Yeah, flowers to Nick Blakey. The way he ran through and that weird running style of his, and that's just some of the greatest stuff to watch, man. It's so entertaining.
I don't know how he doesn't tip over.
I don't know either, man.
I don't know how he doesn't tip over. Oh man, there's something about Carlton and playing the defenders on the opposite team into form, but massive intercept game from him. He was pretty insane. He was out marking Mackay.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I do just want to go ahead.
I think that's probably part of it's him being able to play not as a key defender and just roaming a bit more. I think his role got a bit better since Melican came in. So that helped him out, I reckon, a bit. So
absolutely. I did want to mention as well, just rewind back to when Carlton and North played, and obviously I was especially pretty angry about how I thought we lost, the umpires, all that stuff. But specifically, if you recall, I was very unhappy at the Carlton supporters singing the theme song outside Southern Cross well after the game. And I said in that moment,
Flashback.
Carlton fans singing their Carlton theme song well outside the stadium on the way to Southern Cross. Mate, turn it up. Come on, you beat North Melbourne in round 4.
I know. Settle down.
Settle down.
End of flashback.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, I feel like I remember you saying some pretty... You had some choice words. It's
I
kind
did,
of like,
but specifically that annoyed me.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
That was sort of like we were in a prelim, mate.
That annoyed
Calm
you
down.
because you guys lost. That's why I annoyed you. There's nothing wrong with
Hey,
singing
it hasn't
the
happened
song.
since, mate.
You know what it was?
There's nothing wrong with singing the song after you win.
Not outside
I
Southern
just
Cross.
remember.
It ends there. It ends outside the stadium.
Southern Cross
That's it.
is the
Nah.
stadium.
Nah, mate.
Nah.
It is when you-
It's the fact that the dude started singing like half a meter from me, and that's punching distance, man. Like that got me so angry.
He
man.
wanted you to join in. He knows you got pipes. That's why.
True, I do have pipes, but you know,
Anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there.
that's I was gonna say
Carlton
it's a
fans
little
got
bit of
ahead of them.
AFL Enjoyers out of context.
They got ahead of
It's
themselves again.
pipes.
Nice pipes, Tamika.
Oh, good. All right. We'll put you out of your misery, George, and move on to the next game where the Hawks, with a
Hey.
massive upset in the last quarter against the Saints.
And that was my NAW nod.
Oh, it
Your
was.
That
strike rate
was-
is terrible, man.
I know. I might retire it actually. Not gonna lie. And you know what? Since I'm mentioning the no, there was a question from one of another mate of the pod, friend of the pod, Nick Zudzidi. So Nick Zudz asked what the origin of it was of NAW no, and what it was at one stage. What was it? No, it was an interview with Kevin Garnett, who's a very charismatic basketballer in my opinion. Dude's hilarious, great trash talker. He said it during like a post game interview where someone asked him a question. And he's like, you know, that's a no. You know, he said something like that. And I never planned to do it, but it came out. There was something that it was during the tips. It was Brisbane and Western Bulldogs, I think. It just came out. It was just, you know, the I felt the
There you
Kevin
go.
Garnett
The origins of
vibes.
the Gnaw for
Yeah,
you.
I might retire it though. I'm kind of over it. I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah. Anyway, on to Hawks, man.
Yeah,
What a
well,
squad.
I'll tell you what. Those guys, we've been saying it for a while. They've been losing games, but not losing any admirers because they're trying to play the right way. Young team. They're pretty tough across the board. And they were in the game against the Saints for the most part. And you thought
Mate,
at the end...
they were actually winning around the whole ground. They just weren't putting the pressure on the scoreboard.
Exactly right.
Like,
and then...
Ross Lyon even said that the Hawks had that game. They won that game. Like
Yeah.
he thought that if the Saints were going to win that, they would have pinched it.
Mm.
So they had all the run, and then they finally able to pile on the goals at the end.
What was crazy to me, specifically at the end of the game, St Kilda just sat back and sort of invited the pressure even more than they usually do. And it, to me, just looked like they were waiting for Hawthorn to punish them. And credit to Hawthorn, they weren't just blazing away deep inside 50 entries. They were lowering the eyes, hitting targets, fully deserved their win. They were great.
Sort of vindicates my statement of saying that Saints, they're not contenders a few weeks ago because they don't punish teams. They don't have attacking flair or anything. It's just they just absorb and then counterattack, and you can't do that for the whole year. Credit to the Hawks, man. That's a young team who they knew they had to rebuild, and they've come out, and you know they've just I don't know. It's good. It's just good to see. It's good to see a young team who know they know where they're at, and it's just like we got to play the young guys, and the young guys are stepping up.
Well, let's not forget how much pressure Sam Mitchell was on a couple of weeks into the season. Like they'd never win a game.
But that's
They've been-
that was ridiculous. Now you
and
look at it.
they've been competitive since. So, you know, and they're led by their captain Sicily, your boys,
My boy Sissels, man.
Flowers for Sicily.
Flowers
Everything
for
ran
Sissels.
through Sicily. He's been playing like a bit looser over the last couple of weeks, right? And now he's just setting up all their chains. He was insane.
42 disposals, 21 intercept possessions, 17 contested possessions, and 16 marks.
And a week suspension.
Anyway, we'll deal with that on Supercoach.
to top it off.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
no. That's it. That's the complete Sicily game to get suspended and be the player of the round.
But that's the
I rate
captain's
it.
performance. You're right. And actually, good tie-in to another question from friend of the pod, Chris Michaels, who said, where's Jack Steele this season? Chris, if you've watched the pod before, avid St Kilda fan, he's a big St Kilda man and obviously not happy in his captain with not leading. What did he have? 14 touches.
Yeah. No, he wasn't good.
Missing. Was he missing more in action or was George since Friday night? That's what I want to know.
I reckon it's about even, mate.
About even.
Yeah.
What's going on with him though? He's fought a few injuries,
He was good last week, right? So I mean, we don't want to be too reactive week by week. Then we'll become like Kane Corns and the rest of the media. But
yeah, that's true.
I think that he hasn't quite hit his stripes of consistent football that he could Could be. I mean, Jack Sinclair's a bit the same. We lauded him last week. He was insane, but this week he was quite poor. So they weren't really firing in the midfield, those two boys.
Mm.
I think maybe it's did they get good service from Marshall? I don't know. How did he go? Because he came across two really strong ruckmen in Reeves and Meek. They're very competitive, and they wouldn't have been getting probably as easy as service, I would have thought. But in saying that, you can't be going from week to week. Good performance, bad performance, good performance, bad performance. You need to get a bit more consistency when you're an all-Australian caliber player.
Yeah, I mean, the bye's probably going to help him. Now they've got the Saints have the bye this week. So
yeah, true.
He needs a rest, I think. Hopefully he can come back and be strong.
I think the fear of St Kilda fans as well is that last year they also started very well and then fell off. Obviously, different coach, bunch of different players, different circumstances, but it's probably in the minds of at least the St Kilda fans.
Yeah, are they going to make finals?
It's pretty competitive.
You can't be losing a game like this and
Yeah.
expect finals. Maybe they can, but
Because I was watching one of the footy shows, and Kane Corns, our boy, he went, he said they're not making finals this year. I'm like,
well, then if he says
Whoa.
it, they must make finals.
I know. I hope they do now. Seriously, just another reason to another time we can prove Kane Corns wrong.
Fair
So,
enough, man.
Yeah.
Did want to mention as well, Luke Bruce, great player, 1 goal off 500 goals for his career. So hope he gets it next week. Should be a big milestone for him.
Actually, a little thing before we move on from Hawthorn, though, their social media, TikTok, YouTube Shorts type of stuff is fantastic as well.
Oh, really?
It's
What do they do?
They just do videos where they had one the other day where it was like they put a bunch of chocolates next to a camera and they wanted to see which players would be cheeky and grab it, grab a chocolate because they're not meant to, I'm like, this stuff's funny, you know what I mean? Like, they do that. Collingwood do that. I like that.
You know who also? I've seen North Melbourne do like the really good debut reveals.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
They're really random as well.
Yeah, they are. Like, what was it? Braden George, roaming Braden and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing I do like with North, they get former players to give the jerseys to players when they make their debuts as well.
Yeah.
So it's I like that stuff. It sort of humanizes the game a bit more. These people, these athletes become just regular people.
I think it works when your team's winning, but if Carlton was to start pulling that stuff, we'd be like,
it's like focus on your footy, mate.
get on the field, So it's one of those balance. Like they can't be caught dead doing that stuff. At the moment.
Fair enough. Okay, next game, D's v Freo, the Luke Jackson Cup. I'll tell you what, Freo's on a roll, boys.
Yeah, they're killing it, man. They won round 11 last year against Melbourne to break Melbourne's winning streak at the MCG, and they've done it again this year. So that was the game last year that announced Freo as a potential top 4 team. That they didn't get there, but they were pretty strong, right? And now it's kind of almost symbolic that they've done it again, and Freo are back in the 8, back into contention, back into talking. Oh, these guys are actually not bad. So I don't know. Melbourne's their barometer.
Yeah, I think it's good for them because it's not the experienced guys. They don't really have many experienced guys to lead. It's like Fife, Alex Pearce, they're the older guys, and then all the good players are below 25. I'd say Brayshaw, Jackson, Darcy, Sarong. It's just they've done the rebuild right.
Giant Miss is starting to perform a little bit as well.
Yeah.
His confidence is right up. There was a goal, I believe it was in the last quarter, really opportunistic. Ball just fell to him, threw it right on the boot, snapped it in. That's when a forward's got his confidence up and they don't even need to cite the goals.
Yeah, I like seeing Luke. I mean, disappointing that Sean Darcy got injured. He's a good ruckman, but having Luke Jackson in the ruck just makes it so clear that he's a ruckman, not a forward.
Definitely, he's definitely more of a ruckman than a forward, but I think he could possibly play a bit of just inside mid because the way he moves, he's such a fluid player.
He's got a knick-knack vibe. Kind of, he'll kind of follow up his own tap in a way, because he had 8 clearances as a ruckman.
That's huge. Yeah.
So he had the mobility advantage over Gawn and Grundy. I would say he had more of an impact in the ruck versus both of those players because of the way he plays. And I think that even in the grand final that Melbourne won, in that little patch where Melbourne kicked 3 goals in 30 seconds, it was Luke Jackson in the ruck being another midfielder that actually gave him the advantage. So I think that's where he sits. So I kind of get the idea that Darcy and Jackson both, maybe their chemistry isn't as good, because I think Jackson playing majority ruck will advantage Freo more.
I think having both is just it just gives them more versatility. I think if the choice was to trade one, and let's say for Sean Darcy you get a pick and a decent player, would you do it or no?
I probably would.
I don't. To be honest, I don't know if I would, because I think that those type of players, you don't get many of them. And in this case, one goes down, you need the other one to step up. It gives a huge advantage, when you have a dominant ruck.
Depends how good Jackson gets. If he does become that extra midfielder, great at ground level, great around the ground, tap ruckman, like all arounder essentially, then you do it.
Think about how meaningful like really good clearances are in this game. Like there's a difference between getting like throwing the ball on your boot and just getting it forward, or a meaningful, I've got a tap, handball to the player out straight inside the 50. So if he's allowing you to get really meaningful clearances out, and instead he's playing only 30% ruck and 70% forward, if you bump up those numbers by 30% and you're 60% ruck or 70% ruck, surely the advantage in the midfield becomes more clear. But at the same time, Darcy's a pretty strong ruckman as well, so I don't know.
Oh, he's probably one of the top 3 rucks.
Yeah, I'd say top
in the
3
league right now. Yeah, so
fair enough. And just on Melbourne, real quick, I want to ask the question to you two. I know Melbourne's a good team, and we can all agree that they are. But I'm talking specifically finals chance. Are these guys pretenders?
Nah. They I'm pretty sure they had more like scoring shots than what Freo did. So they kicked themselves out of the game. That doesn't take away from what Freo did, because you got to be there and you got to kick the winning score. But I don't think I wouldn't be panicking too much if I was Melbourne.
I think Melbourne need all of their good players in, and all teams need their best players, right? But having Oliver out is a big thing for them, because it doesn't allow Petrarca to play the same type of role. If you've got both of them in the midfield, he's one of the best midfielders in the comp. You take him out, it makes a big difference. And that's one thing that Melbourne's been able to get right over the last couple of years, is they haven't had major injuries to Oliver, Petrarca, Gawn.
Gawn has had injuries, but they usually have
not in their like successful period. Like I'm talking like last year before.
Yeah,
they've kept that core, and they just haven't been. They've been immovable. So anytime you remove Oliver, they get affected.
Obviously, yeah, I agree. Reason I bring it up is because I was looking at their wins lately, and obviously they've lost this week. They lost last week in a tough one to Port Adelaide. That was a great game. And then before that, they beat up on Hawthorn a little bit. Then they just beat the Suns, and the Suns were good value in that game. They could have gone either way at the end. And then before that, they beat up on North Melbourne. Fair enough. And then it was a pretty close win over Richmond, so not that impressive. And Richmond's not been a great side this year. And then we go a loss against Essendon. Big win over the Eagles. And then there was that big win over Sydney, who now we're looking at it like, okay, they're not actually anything special this year. That was back in round 3. Close loss to the Lions. And then back in round 1, a pretty convincing win over the Dogs. So it's not really any statement wins in there against good teams.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
We'll have to see how they go heading into the final stages of the year, where obviously form is most important. But I just thought I'd bring it up because you'd like to see those signs early in the year that a team means business. There's not really anything there of substance, but we'll see how they go.
Yeah, it's fair call. That's well said.
Fair enough. Next game was very interesting as well. I personally was very happy to see it. The Cats at GMHBA falling short.
Yeah.
Very short, to be honest.
Yeah, that's wild. Shout out to the 7 supporters for GWS that went there.
They made a bit of noise. I heard them.
Yeah. That one family that popped in.
Yeah, that little speck of orange just in there.
Honestly, that's quite impressive, man. Making the trip all the way down, not just to Melbourne, but to Geelong. In a game that they should never win, but somehow did. Shout out again to those 7 individuals.
Yeah, I think, for the milestone of Toby, I think you make your way down.
Friend of the pod, Toby Green.
Yeah, friend of the pod, Toby
Green.
And
he killed it as well.
Yeah, man. It was his game. That was his game. Actually, what's his name as well? Whitfield. He's actually playing all right now.
Yeah.
Last 5 weeks, it's like, I'm not going to say it's peak Whitfield, but at least he's, creating, he's making himself useful, which he didn't do the first 5 rounds.
I've noticed it was actually since Isaac Cumming got injured.
Yeah.
You're
right.
And Lockie Ash both have been much better. So maybe there was just a bit too much going on in that similar sort of role.
Too many mouths to feed
maybe.
in regards to kicks.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. I think overall, though, in this game, I was watching that one, and the Giants, from the first minute to the end, were just all over the Cats, putting great pressure on. And Geelong was way off it. They were bad. if it was a better side, the game would have been over at halftime, in my opinion. Giants just couldn't put them away for good. But Geelong was sloppy, man. The midfielders, I mean, most of the centre balance attendances were like Blitzarves, Atkins,
Tanner Bruin.
It's not a sexy midfield.
Not good enough,
No,
mate.
not
They
at
were
all.
poor, getting absolutely beat up around the ball. And then guys like Stewart played well, doing his thing, but Radaglia got injured. De Koning was just back from injury. He was poor. Zach Guthrie, and again, just poor. Like, there was something wrong with the way they were moving the ball and defending and just panicking. You don't often see that, especially at GMHBA.
Well, the interesting thing is we talk about like Geelong's injuries, but GWS had some key players out as well.
Exactly.
Josh Kelly out.
Kelly, Haynes, a couple other names as
Exactly.
well.
Himmelberg. concussed.
Himmelberg, who can play defence. So I think it's a tough win, man. And they were up by like 20 points in the last quarter. The Cats came, and you think, they're going to roll over them. But they didn't. They bounced back. So good on them, man.
And there was sort of like an entitlement from the Cats crowd where they were just sort of silent, just waiting for the form to turn around. Getting really sort of edgy, and it was just a really weird vibe at GMHBA. You could hear it over the TV.
It's a weird stadium to be like the opposition.
Correct.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think they had blocked off the seats behind the goals for one of the sides. So if you kick a goal, it just bounces off the seats.
They're renovating it.
Yeah, it's not a nice stadium to be playing football at.
It's weird, man. Well, the Cats have lost 3 in a row now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy considering. So Giants this week, then it was Tigers, and what was the other one? Can't remember now. But anyways,
they don't have the depth they used to.
Was it Freo? Was that one?
Freo, that's right. Yeah,
That's it.
They don't have the depth that they used to because they're not covering the players right. So,
well, look, Dangerfield's been out for a while. Joel Selwood obviously retired last year.
Yeah.
That's their 2 best midfielders.
Yeah.
Even Joel Selwood in his last year. Like, what's happened to the other guy? Cam Guthrie. Is he out as well?
he's injured, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's their 3 best midfielders out. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, they need someone to step up. I just wanted to shout out as well Daniels and Riccardi for the Giants. Well, we know Toby Green kicked 4. He was fantastic. But these guys kicking 3 each. So I just wanted to shout them out.
Yeah, they took the opportunities. There's also Cat's first club ever to field 3 Irish players at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, O'Sheen looked all right, man. I think, is that how you say his name?
His first name?
O'Sheen.
Mullen.
Yeah, we'll just go with Mullen. Mullen looked all right, man.
You got to do it with an accent.
O'Sheen Mullen.
Nice. You look pretty good for a first game international player.
Yeah.
Apparently he's a superstar over there.
I heard they called him
Nick
Dacos
Nick
of Ireland.
Dacos,
That's a bit of a
Yeah.
stretch, mate. Calm down.
Yeah, it's like they said pulling Nick Dacos out of the AFL and putting him in another code. That'd cause riots over at Collingwood. Eddie Maguire would lose his mind, say, "You can't take players out of AFL." He'd go nuts.
That's crazy. Well, I guess we'll find out if they ever do that international rules again. We put Mullen in. Let's see how good he really is.
But he would play for.
Why not? He's an AFL player now.
But he'd play for Ireland.
Oh, because it's Australia versus Ireland.
Exactly.
We'll see it anyway.
That's
If
it.
he's
Yeah.
that good.
Doesn't Australia always win those? Didn't
Not
they used to
always.
always win?
I don't think so, man.
Back when they had Dustin
it's
Fletcher
their
in
game.
goals.
Are you sure? I thought we used to go over there and beat them.
I don't think it was like convincing wins. I think they used to beat us.
About 50-50 from my memory.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
why should it be 50-50 when that's their game and we're just picking up and just...
Yeah.
We had Dustin
True,
Fletcher
true.
in goals. Who did they have, man?
Yeah.
But yeah, good on the Giants.
They should bring that back, man.
They should.
That was lit, man. That was really good. I think did Boomer win Did he win the medal? One of
Boomer
these?
was great at it.
Yeah.
He was good.
He loved it. Man.
Good stuff. We'll quickly touch on the next game. Sunnies. Hey, look, with Carlton dropping out
I
of
said
that,
at the start of
You
the
did.
year the Suns, mate, and you guys laughed at me.
we did laugh, bro.
You guys laughed at me. And if they beat in Melbourne, when they... Like McPherson had a goal in the final seconds to kick and win them, that would be equal 8th.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, they're showing a lot more resilience this year, a lot more consistency in the big games. So time will tell whether they can keep up the form post-buys. But I'll tell you what, I like what I'm seeing. Lukosia's kicking bags,
Yeah.
Anderson and Rowell in the middle. I don't know if you've written down Rowley's stats there, George, but he was a monster.
Give us the clearances, mate.
Mate, I think it was 16 clearances, 23 contested possessions. I could not believe what I was watching because this is the thing. How do you get that many clearances, that many contested possessions and still have 700 meters gained? That's what Nick Dacos gets.
I think that's he was just chucking it on the boot, maybe. You know what I mean?
He was just like fending off Bont, saying, Bont, go home to your family. And he's just taking it on, mate. He was insane.
Does meters gained count as the kick? Or does that
running
is that
with the
running?
ball, everything. Yeah.
It's
It
just
must be
moving the
both.
ball forward, but
Yeah,
you
okay,
get.
yeah.
I think you get minus meters gained if you kick it backwards.
Oh,
I think
there you
so,
go.
right?
So,
I think
he
so,
was
yeah.
just playing with positivity. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it.
I actually think Rao's an underrated player.
It's odd that you say that because he was the most hyped number one pick.
I know he had
in
these 3
years.
games, and then people kind of forgot about him,
Yeah.
and then he was coming back, but just getting clearances, but
Yeah.
nothing else.
We're just calling him Buzz Lightyear and talking about the notebook
Call
and
him
stuff. You know,
Buzz.
he just sort of became a meme. But hey, he's a serious footballer.
Yeah, he's coming on, man.
Tell you what, since I was in the Gold Coast, spending a bit of time with him a couple
True.
weeks ago, man's been in form. So,
Sure, he's been having some green smoothies and
hey, man.
you know,
He was amazing, man.
But he was awesome. And look, the Dogs, I guess there's no shame losing away in a pretty close contested game. but
The conditions were apparently it was boiling, like Northern Territory. Like the Suns are better equipped to dealing with the humid conditions, the heat, the slippery
Sure.
conditions. So they had the advantage there. I think it's tough to go up there and play the Suns in those type of conditions. So
Yeah.
that would have affected it. I think if that was at Marvel, it would have been a different result. But yeah, good on Gold Coast for getting the win.
yeah, they did well. The next game, look.
actually one
Yeah,
quick
go
thing
ahead,
as well.
man.
Holman,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to give flowers to him actually.
Oh, go ahead, boys. No.
give him his flowers, man.
Look, his mother passed away recently.
Yeah.
He's had 100 games. Nick Holman used to play for Carlton.
He did, man. He did.
And Mick Moldhouse hated him, man. And I always thought that Holman wasn't that bad because he'd come on as a sub in the fourth quarter and get like 30, 40 Supercoach points,
yeah, fair call.
which is my revenue.
Yeah.
That's not bad if
Yeah.
you extrapolate that over the whole game.
Yeah.
So,
Points per minute.
you know, he's gone up to the Gold Coast and he's forged a career for himself, you know, against the odds a little bit. And he's not a great player, not a bad player, but he plays tough, kicked 2 goals. Good on him.
Plays with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
I like Holman. Good on him. Yeah. Anyway, next one.
Some flowers for Holman. Look, the next one,
Actually, one more thing. Sorry, man.
go ahead, please. go
One
ahead.
more thing. What was with the umpires in that last quarter, mate?
I didn't see it. What happened? Can you
Oh,
tell me? Because I've
bro,
read a bit about it.
You would have exploded.
Maybe it's a good thing I didn't watch it.
So, the one thing we didn't say is that the fact that the Dogs were all over Gold Coast, but could not, like their entries inside 50 were shocking. Like they could not convert. Gold Coast was way more efficient, leading to the win. But in the last quarter, when Gold Coast was ahead, some of the umpires were walking them to the goal. Like it was almost like someone had paid them off. I could not believe it. All the comments were the same. It's like they got a 15-meter free kick that ridiculous. You would have just literally thrown your. You would have killed someone.
I'm getting angry just thinking
Yeah,
about it.
you would have been in jail as a result. And then the ducking from Waitman leading to one, like shocking, man. I could not believe it. Obviously, I want Gold Coast to win. I was bewildered. Lucky that
It's
they beat
crazy,
the
man.
umpires.
Now that you've got me going, when I was watching the North game today, please, if anyone else saw this, let us know. Not even for either team. So it's not even like a North thing. It's just the umpires' mics were on. The volume must have been up, or maybe they gave more
Yeah.
access than usual. And you hear them barking their like stand or like telling the players what to do. Honestly, if I was a player, the way these guys yell at you, I don't know how they resist the abuse. To be
Player
honest,
dissent.
mate, that rule. But you know what? Sometimes when these umpires are yelling at them, like, mate, it's not going to matter if I stand completely still or not. Like, I'm not going to run at the guy. I'm not going to affect his kick. Like, anyway, I just found it really annoying.
I think part of the test of becoming an umpire is that they do like an online course of snarky comments.
Oh,
So, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So they just, it's like make sure that, when a player asks what was it for, just go, well, look, I saw it. And, they just, they're very passive aggressive and weird umpires.
can't stand it, mate.
Anyway.
Well, thanks for letting me know, George.
Yes.
That's
Stop,
it.
stop trying to take the win away from Gold Coast unfairly, you bastards.
Need to give more ammo for Dean hating refs, man.
That's it, mate. Weekly segment. At some point, it comes up. Fair enough. Well, look, it's taken a few goes to get to this next game, but we're going to finish pretty quickly.
with our blessing, please proceed.
With your blessing, can we just move on? Because it was West Coast v. the Bombers. Routine
Yeah.
win for the Bombers.
Who won that one?
I'm pretty sure the Bombers won.
Well,
In
that's
a
crazy.
pretty uneventful game. Nothing exciting seemed to have happened. No one's been talking about it.
No one watched it. That's
No
why.
one watched it.
Yeah, shout out to Zumi. His team won again, but
Yeah.
that's I don't know. There's less to say.
Elliot Yo came back.
Oh, did he?
He
Yeah,
added
he
some
did.
grunt to the midfield.
Yeah.
I think he was a bit of the reason why the margin wasn't 600 points. It was only whatever it was. I think that he added something in the midfield to give him a bit more grunt. So hopefully he gets a good run at it.
Yeah, Shannon Hearn got 130
Yeah,
super coach for my draft team. So I was pretty happy with that. There's a positive to come out of that game.
So I'm just having a quick look at the stats. Yeah, Ben Hobbs kicked 2 goals, so he's one of their high-end draft picks over the last few years. Nick Martin, when we talk about most improved players, this guy just came out of nowhere last year. And he's sort of backing it up this year.
He kicked 5 goals on debut.
He did.
Yeah, I was going to say, he hasn't improved. He's the same, but that's fine because he was good last year.
No, I'm talking like he just came out of nowhere last year. And he's sort of the same this year.
Yeah.
But he was a rookie pickup, right?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So he just came out of nowhere, that guy. He's pretty good. Yeah, Redmond, he's all right as well. We've got not much to say about this game.
Yeah. Do you know, I was going to say, speaking of most improved, there was a few more. We posted a TikTok, most improved. I don't have TikTok on this phone, but it got a bit of buzz and people saying, Mason Wood as most improved. I think that's facts, man.
Great shout.
That is facts. Like he went from, fringe player, fringe almost listed type player to like really high-end role player. Great
He's been
improvement
great this
there.
year.
I can't remember what the others were. Someone said Josh Dacos. I can't remember. I'll get back to
Josh
that.
Dacos. Yeah, he's had a steady kind of increase.
Yeah, maybe it's just getting noticed this year now that there's some, more Collingwood buzz than usual.
Yeah.
That his performances have been better. I can't remember who the other ones were, but I'll have a look. Do you have TikTok on your phone? Check it out.
I think a couple of people said Zach Butters, but I don't know if Zach Butters really count. Like he's really ascended into like elite, but the guy's been an All-Australian in his second year already.
But that's I think it's just role change for him. Yeah. It's not so much he's improved.
He's already an All-Australian as a small forward.
Yeah, well, there you go. So it's just now he's able to flesh it out a bit more because he's playing in the guts and he just gets more of it.
I think the improved player needs to be someone that like has taken their game to another level. But I think you got to factor in natural progression and like if you're a high draft pick, right? Like if you're Matt Rao and now you're playing your best football, are you most improved? Like you were always going to probably get there, right? Zach Butters, like really high draft pick. It's like saying, I don't know, Nick Dacos most improved from his first year to his second, but it's Nick Dacos. So,
I was going to say, I love this perspective because in the NBA, and so you don't even know this, in the NBA, they give the most improved player to like the dude who's the number one pick or something like that. Oh, he did so well to go from here to here. Like Ja Morant won it, 2 years ago. He shouldn't be winning it. No. He's Ja Morant. We know that this guy's meant to be the dude. I think this year maybe did Shea win it? I can't remember.
I don't know who won it, but he was in the conversation.
Yeah, Shea maybe it makes a bit more sense, but that's fantastic that you've already.
But I feel like most improved should be like Liam Jones. Like he should be like a potato that turned into a superstar overnight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We mentioned Jack Sinclair, like these type of players that were no names, and then they have one preseason where something clicks for them, and then they become the player that they've always meant to be. But I don't think saying like Zach Butters most improved. He's gotten better. He's gotten way better, but. He was a star from game one. 25
disposals to 30 disposals is an improvement, but it's not as big as the Mason Wood improvement or I still think Asava Radagalia's improvement's huge,
Both fair calls. Speaking of Zachy Butters, we'll move on to the next game as well.
Yeah.
Port just getting the job done against the Tigers. Mate, Port is second on the ladder. I can't believe it.
They're so good, man.
They're just so good.
They're just very good. I know had my North bias against them for a while, but now I'm just going to say these guys are great, man.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah. I think now that we've got like the Sheasel and Wardlaw thing from...
Yeah, I forgave them last week.
Yeah, exactly. I can kind of sort of enjoy Port again.
That's good, man.
You know what I mean? Like, I want it and I want to because there was a time...
it, not me. Take it easy.
Yeah, no, I know. The thing is, there was a time where I enjoyed watching Port. Like, I liked the Angus Monfrey's Port. Do you know what I mean?
As soon as you said, I used to enjoy watching Port, in my head, I was going to say Angus Monfrey's.
But everyone liked Port back. That's the 2014 prelim final. Yeah, everyone liked them.
They're a bit of a hipster team. We just we all loved them.
Never tear us
Robbie
apart.
Gray,
Jared
never
Pollock.
Tear us apart. I love that song. But no, mate, from the Never Tear Us Apart era to now, Butters, Rosie. They've got, what's his name? Ollie Lord's playing decent forward minutes, when the other forwards are out. Like, they're great, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's another example of Port winning a close game and Richmond losing a close game. So, I mean,
true.
Taranto did everything in his power to try to win this game, man.
Oh, man.
33 possessions, 4 goals as a midfielder.
He's got the fan footy little carry.
Yeah, he's got
symbol on
the
him for
Atlas.
sure.
The Atlas.
That's the Atlas.
Well, I mean, like, I think both teams tried to kick points more so than goals. Like, it was just a points fest, trying to win by 1 point each time instead of 6. So, not really the most mathematically smart way of going about it. But
Yeah, I agree. I think six is more than one.
6 is more than 1
Oh.
in most occasions. But Toronto at least was kicking us with a big stick. So
Which
good
is
on him.
odd because he's been like,
Yeah,
he's
he's
the
the
career
butcher.
butcher. Yeah,
He's
he's
the
the career butcher. The Italian butcher. Yeah. Now he's cleaned up a little bit, which is good.
Oh, and the other thing I noted, which was funny, is Nankervis gave away 6 free kicks. Lysette 7 free kicks, 4.
That's
7-0 for Lysette.
And you just know, like I said last week, with his ruck infringement rule, you just know that most of them were probably 50-50s.
Oh, Nankervis different. Nankervis gives away free kicks like no one I've ever seen.
It's a hobby, I think.
He just enjoys it.
He enjoys it. It's like,
He's a
winning
free kick
games
enjoyer.
of footy, giving free kicks away.
It's typical Richmond though. Like they don't always help themselves out with the free kicks, man. They love to give away free kicks.
Well, I was seeing a lot of comments on the Facebook post that saying that Port won the game, like, oh, easy to win when there's 23 players on the other team, and just like the umpire complaints. So I don't know how much of it is true, but
Every team will always complain about umpires, but
it was pretty savage in the comment section. So maybe there was something in it, but
Jeez, man.
I can't confirm or deny. I was busy not watching that game. Yeah, well done to Port. Like I said, they're second on the ladder. If they get a home final, that's huge considering where they came from last year, which was a very disappointing year. I predicted Ken Hinkley wouldn't last. It's seeming like he will now. So credit to him, credit to them.
Oh no, man! He's resurrected his career.
He's
man.
resurrected, mate.
Dean ruled him out, man.
I know. JHF's just come in and saved his ass. So
That's
well,
it.
we mentioned Ken Hinkley as a coach. What we didn't mention, Stuart Dew has been under pressure, and he kind of backed it up as well. So a couple of coaches kind of fighting for their life and surviving.
yeah,
So good on them.
would be tempting for the Gold Coast again with the Damien Hardwick availability.
Well, that's why he came under pressure. Like Hardwick was linked to that. He's like, nah, this is mine. But I would like to see Stewie Dew stick it out and get Gold Coast to the promised land.
All right, I would want nothing more.
Oh yeah, man. We love Stewie Dew, man. We love Stewie Dew.
He's a big friend of the pod.
Big friend, big friend.
All right, next game. I've got a bit to say about this one.
All right.
Pies beat North by, 35 points in the end. Something always happens to me on game day, boys, where just the hope kicks in. And man just thinks, you know what?
Bro, crush it. Just crush it.
We might win it. I don't. Last year we were up against them in the last quarter. Maybe we can do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I must say, look, I'm watching this game. I'm thinking very clearly the Pies are a team who move the ball quicker than us. They're more organised in defence, and they're just more lethal in front of goals. However, I must say, I was very impressed with North's attitude, their intent. They were harder on the ball, in my opinion. I think Collingwood was way silkier, but North was really giving 110% effort. So I can't be angry with that match, considering where both teams are at. I actually quite enjoyed seeing guys like Eddie Ford, George Wardlaw, Sheasel, Larky kicked 5. There was a lot to like. Even guys in defence were trying their best, like Griffin Logue's starting to play some good footy. Zeebel's doing his thing. So for me as a North fan, the last 2 weeks, we haven't won, but all I ask for is just be in the game, play hard, and we know that if we do that, we've got some serious talent on the list. So well done to North. Thank you for being watchable, and I know I was going through some dark times, similar to George, over the last month or so, but they've brought me back. I'm enjoying the footy again.
Yeah, no, same here, man. Like I think it's good that you gave a little synopsis of the game because I had an early work day, so I fell asleep during that game. So thank you. That's good.
No worries, man.
Good to hear. Good to hear what happened.
Yeah, from a neutral perspective, I thought that North was playing pretty tough football, but the game was never really in danger from Collingwood's perspective. So Collingwood are rolling. They don't look like losing. They still have West Coast to go as well, so they've versed a lot of hard teams and they've beat them. So I think they'd have an easier fixture coming in. They're a frightening team, the Pies.
Yeah, and I must say, like guys like DeGoey and the Dacos boys,
Yeah,
there's a lot of class, a lot of power, and we just couldn't keep up with it. I will say Will Phillips, 29 touches, which is huge from a North perspective.
That's the best game of his career.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
Yep. And he's little, but he's tough as well. So I think LDU being out, Cunnington being out, in a strange way has made our midfield be forced to get more deeper. Obviously, Phillips coming in, Wardlaw coming in, and we're looking pretty tough around the ball. The last couple of weeks, wouldn't say we won the midfield battle this week, but we've competed really well. Last week we definitely
Greenwood
won.
was really good.
He was huge.
Yeah, he was huge.
So good on North. Yeah, please keep staying in the game so I can watch them and enjoy them. And well done to the Pies. They had side bottom 300 games. Unfortunately, got injured.
Yeah.
You know he's only missed 30 games in his 300-year career, 300 game career. 30 games out of all that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous consistency to only get injured on your 300th game.
I know, very unlucky. And Mason Cox as well, 100 games, and Jaden Stevenson. So 3 friends of the pod there celebrating some milestones.
Just want to confirm, how old is still side bottom? Someone told me he was 32. I swear that dude's like 38. Oh, he's 32.
That's what I'm saying. If you've only missed 30 games out of you're racking them up quickly. He's a 350 gamer.
Yeah, that's the thing. I actually thought to myself, I'm like, is it his 350? I honestly thought that. And then I said, 300. I'm like, impressive. But I swear he's been playing since I was like 12 years old or something. He's been playing actually, he probably has.
Yeah.
He probably has.
He's been playing for 14 years.
Yeah, true. He would have debuted when I was in primary school. Like, this dude, he's been around for years, man. It's
Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
It's crazy. That's wild.
He did. I remember talking about him when I was in primary school.
Yeah, no, there you go. No, we're literal.
I'm grown now.
We're grown. Are we? Are we grown?
I'm grown now, and this guy's still playing.
Mate, credit to Steel Side Bottom. Well done. And the last game, I must say, I did watch this one. Cracking game. Very intense. Crows got over the top of the Lions. I did say last week, Crows at home is different, baby.
Yeah,
They're built different at home. Away from home, you never know what you're getting. But these guys at home get the crowd behind them and put the Lions to the sword in a game where it could have gone either way for a long time.
So, has anyone written down our tips from last week? Because I think we got like 2.
It's a round of upsets, mate.
They'll be on the screen, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, true. I don't. Let's just not have a look at it because it's a calamity.
I think most people are going to be like that. I think this week.
But
no one's tipping Hawks. No one's tipping Gold Coast. No one's tipping.
No, you know what? Just looking at it,
Freo.
we would have tipped Pies, Port, Bombers, so that's 3.
Okay.
And then you know what? We probably got the rest wrong.
3.
3. All right.
I would have thought. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways,
back to the game.
yeah. What did you guys think? The Crows, for me, showed all their best attributes when it mattered most in that game.
The only thing I can really... there's a few things to take out of it. The main thing for me...
The Kylian Mbappe celebration.
The Mbappe celebration
from
Rochelle. That was tough, man. And what a goal as well, man. Yeah. That's classy boy, man.
Soccer background. Boy. He's showing it.
That's it, man. That's it. Nah, that was a good little shout out to Mbappe, man. So I like that.
Yeah, him and Rankin scored a few cracking goals.
Yeah, they're potent forwards, those guys. Still very young in their career.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, though, the Lions in the third quarter, when the game was in the balance, 1 goal, 9, that just shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
They lost all confidence and momentum, even though both teams were going at it in the contest. Like, it was a pretty physical game. But when you score 1 goal, 9 in a quarter, when you're on top, getting more inside 50s, it's hard to win a game away from home.
You would feel sick as a Brizzy supporter, man. Like, you go there, that's a big game because it would have put them second, and really entrenched them.
It's a win away from home, which is hard to get.
Exactly, against a big team because not many people are taking points from Adelaide, in Adelaide. So yeah, you'd feel really hard done by.
And I think Brisbane, of all the top 4 teams, I think you mentioned it a few weeks ago, George, their home form versus their away form is massive. So if they get a home prelim, they could be well on their way to a grand final.
They need to finish top 2.
Well, Brisbane. Games like this might come back to bite them.
Yeah, because I think they go down. They're on 28 points, and Port above them is on 32. But their percentage is better. Their percentage is better by like 10%.
Brisbane.
So, yeah, their percentage is huge. So they would have jumped up. They would have jumped them, and yeah.
Interesting. Well, look, that's what you want to see, though. There were some pretty close games this week, some pretty good games. So I think overall, as a neutral, you would have enjoyed it, depending on who you barrack for. George disagrees.
Yeah. But we're gonna have to be really supportive of George during this, doing the pod.
We should do. What's the mental health?
Beyond Blue.
Yeah, Beyond Blue. We should get sponsorship or something like that.
Maybe. True. Hopefully not. But yeah. I did just want to bring up, boys. Actually, a bit more of a non-football take here, but Cameron Mooney v Tom Bellchambers in the boxing match. Very interesting. I will say, Bellchambers had the height and range on him, so. Cameron Mooney he wasn't really defending too well, and
Are they any good?
Honestly, no.
No, okay.
Cameron Mooney was
Did
not-
he get knocked out?
He got knocked down and not out, but he was dazed.
Okay, so it might have been like a TKO.
Yeah, no, fight rightfully stopped.
Yeah.
He got a good one. He did give a few to Tommy, so I guess it was pretty entertaining. But when you're not a professional fighter and you're going up against the guy who's taller and got a longer reach, you're going to have to get pretty lucky to win.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna give Cam Mooney his flowers for actually trying to fight a guy who's like 10 centimeters taller than him.
Exactly right.
That's bravery. So good on him.
Good on him,
Maybe
man.
stupidity, but regardless, good on him for giving it a crack.
Absolutely. And it does lead in. So pre-first pod, we were sort of brainstorming ideas of what segments we might do, this and that. And Matsa actually had a really good one, which was who would win a fight.
Yeah, this is something I've been wanting to do for before we even thought of doing a podcast. I've thought about this, like who would win in a fight.
So it just seems like a natural time to bring it up, right?
Yeah,
Like,
of course, yeah. And the one that we were talking, with I thought of pre-pod was Taylor Walker against Harris Andrews, because they were sort of going back and forth a little bit. Harris Andrews is taller.
taller, longer reach, definitely.
Yes, but Tex,
Is a big boy, though.
yeah.
He's got the weight on him, I would have thought.
Thoughts?
Man, I have no idea. I have no idea who would win the fight. What are the rules of the fight?
It's a fight.
It's a boxing fight.
Is it boxing?
Just a
No,
boxing fight.
I don't think boxing is just a fight. So it's like, do you not watch like street fight videos on Twitter and stuff? That's half of my time. It's me.
It's gone from boxing to maybe like UFC. You're talking street fight.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like
Oh my
we're on the
God.
You got
street.
knives? You got knives? You got
No
guns?
weapons. Just it's one of those fights where it's just like, come on, man, come on, and they just rip their shirt off and start fighting.
I think
We're
definitely
talking-
Tex outside the ring. In the ring, Harry Andrews. That's my bet.
Fair call, because Tex will play dirty.
He will.
He doesn't like, he's had shocking haircuts and facial hair.
But
for
if there's
years.
like a referee,
he doesn't mind being dirty.
If there's a referee managing the dirtiness, like
Yeah.
Harry Andrews with that reach, he's
That's
going
so
all day,
funny,
all day
man.
long.
Fair enough.
I've been watching John Wick all weekend, so I don't know. I think John Wick would win.
Hey, there we go.
Fair enough, man.
Shout out John Wick.
Shout out John Wick.
Another thing that I've thought about, right? I thought I'd ask you guys. I didn't tell you guys about this pre-pod, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise. I just want first reactions for this, right?
Okay.
Who would you take? And I've got a few different players here, right? Sicily versus Tom Stewart.
That's a very good question. I'd take Tom Stewart.
I'd take Tom Stewart.
I'd be going Sicily personally, but I just love James Sicily, so it's hard to.
I love them both.
Yeah,
But my justification there is I think Stewart has a bit more leg speed and maybe they're probably pretty equal kicks. Maybe Sicily's a more impressive kick. Come to think
I
of
reckon
it.
he is.
He's got a more penetrating kick,
Yeah.
but I think Tom Stewart is the better intercept defender.
Yeah, fair call. All right, next one: Butters or Nick Dacos.
Butters.
Nick Dacos.
No, you got to take Dacos. Dacos is better, but I just like Butters.
I had to throw that in because I just wanted to see what Georgie would do.
Definitely Dacos.
Here's an interesting one, right? Because this is probably the top two midfielders in the comp: Bont, Oliver.
Ooh. That's a very good question. I think I'll go Clary.
Look,
Ooh.
I would go Bont because of like the leadership captain side. I think Oliver's a better. Oh, is he a better midfielder than Bont? Bont's been insane this year.
I reckon Clary's probably the better inside mid, but Bont has the kicking and the goal scoring.
Is he even a better inside mid? Like,
Maybe Bont is better.
but Bont is the best midfielder in the comp at the moment, right? You can't really lose, but I'd say Bont. He's the captain. He can go forward. He's being played midfield this year and really showing what he can do. Well, Bont's better.
I've got a few of these, not gonna lie. But like, here's another one: Oliver again, but versus his teammate Petrarca.
Ooh.
It depends it depends what your team needs because they are different players.
No, we're just going not about team needs, just player versus player. That's all.
I think Petrarca is better.
I
agree.
prefer to watch Petrarca.
Yeah, I think watching
To be honest.
Petrarca, but I think he has a similar inside game to Oliver, but he has the class. Just it's a level above. All right, next one. Here's a bit of a lower tier of player, but Cozzy Pickett or Isaac Rankin.
Rankin.
Yeah, it's so tough, man.
Yeah, I thought so as well, man. Because Cozzy's such a live wire,
Yeah.
running up. Like he does. I feel like he does more than just score goals.
I'm gonna go Cozzy.
There we go.
They're both incredible. So
Here we go. Charlie Curnow, Jezza, Cameron.
Kerno, younger.
Yeah, no, I agree. But Cameron is
If I was starting a team right now, I'd take Kerno.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Good,
I think
call.
Kerno clearly.
All right. Jordan Dawson versus Jack Sinclair.
JD.
Yeah, I'd
Ooh.
go JD. These are good, man.
Yeah, no,
Because they're kind of like they're both halfback midfielders.
yeah, no. These ones when I was writing this up, I'm like, man, this is gold, man. These I'm onto some. All right, here's another one: Chad Warner versus Andrew Brayshaw.
Chad.
Chad, fair enough. Probably a bit more just explosive of an
Yeah.
athlete. So
I'd go
enough.
Andrew Brayshaw.
Andrew. Ooh, there we go. Thoughts? What's
I think he's tougher and he's a better leader.
no,
He's
fair
probably
enough.
a better leader.
Fair enough. He looks like he has a bit more of a mature look to him. You know, the brown hair. It's
Yeah.
not as flowy and
He's got a jaw
Chad Warner-
reconstruction as well.
yeah, true. He's
It's a
been
little-
through some
A
shit.
little bit of flat track bully vibes with Chad Warner.
He's younger than Brayshaw.
couple years younger.
See, here's an interesting one because it's a very contrasting style of ruckman. Darcy versus English.
I think you go Noodle. The Noodle's just he's more versatile.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
he
it's
does
English for me.
And
Yeah.
probably, well, I can't not necessarily less injury prone because they're both injury prone, but yeah, I'd go the Noodle.
I got two more. Laird versus Zach Merritt.
Rory led.
Merit.
Fair enough. See, they're just, it's like, what do you want more?
Yeah.
The inside, in and under guy, or do you want the class on the outside?
Laird is such an understated player. He's so underrated. It's unbelievable. But
Yeah,
I
you just
think
said Merritt was better, so.
Well, I think that Merritt is maybe a more complete player, but Laird's ability to win the ball in the inside is insane.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, last one. Luke Davies-Uniacke versus Tom Green from GWS.
LDU for me.
Fair.
And I'm trying not to be biased.
Yeah, it's a hard one. That one's, to me, I'm like,
When he's up and about, LDU.
Probably has a
He's-
higher
he's better.
ceiling, maybe.
Yeah.
No, there we go. All right, there we go. That was the last of them, boys.
Fantastic.
No,
have to-
you did well in keeping him pretty even. Like there wasn't a really clear one.
The Butters and Dacos one.
Yeah, that's clear.
But
And
in saying that Butters is in such good form, you could say he's like top 5 players in the comp right now.
well,
So,
he might be the number one. I think after this round, he's going to be the highest coaches vote player.
oh, there you go. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there we go.
Love it, Matsa. Look forward to maybe doing that again next week or in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to make more of those.
Sounds good, man. All right, now this week, boys, we have round 12, which is the first of the bye rounds, actually. So Brisbane, Freo, the Saints, and the Swans are not playing. Okay, so we'll go through the games that are on. Friday night, would you believe it? Carlton's back on a Friday night. Another game,
You're
George.
just here to ruin my weekend, mate.
So
My
the other thing
goodness.
is, we're starting it on the wrong foot for George.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair.
Would you rather lose on a Friday night and just get over it over the weekend, or not have that disappointment riding into the weekend and lose on a Sunday? Because you are losing this game for sure.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd rather lose on the Sunday, so at least you can enjoy the rest of the footy week.
No, because then there's the anticipation that you're going to lose. Maybe it's better. You know, do you rip off the Band-Aid or do you let the Band-Aid just sit there?
Yeah, or you go,
Yeah. No,
or do you just go?
and I'm hairy, man, so you got to rip it off.
Same, bro. Nah, you just gotta go. You
Oh,
can't.
man.
Ugh.
Look, I hope that Carlton does respond at some point, but Melbourne also just lost the game, so you wouldn't have thought they'd lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, they need to respond, Melbourne.
They've
so-
lost 2 in a row, mate.
Already? Not 3 then.
Yeah, nah.
Surely not
three.
Sure, nah. Yeah,
Alright,
nah.
Melbourne's winning
Melbourne
that.
is, yeah.
George?
Just move on, bro.
I want to hear you say it, George. Go
No,
on.
just move on. Just move on.
Fair enough. So on Saturday, we have Port hosting the Hawks. I think as impressive as the Hawks are, Port
Yeah, Port for me
Yeah,
as well.
Port.
have to just get that done. The Eagles are hosting the Pies.
Can you ask me if
No.
I thought you were retiring it.
again.
Nah, look. Can I at least end it on an actual
All
win?
right, Matza, can the Eagles beat the Pies?
NAW. No, they're not. They are not beating the Pies, and I'm gonna get this one right. 'Cause I'm sick of getting them wrong.
Soak it in, everyone. That was your last NAW.
Yeah, it might, we're gonna retire it with a bang. I think.
Fair
Yeah.
enough, man. Fair enough.
Shout out to Kevin Garnett.
All good. And then we have the Doggies hosting the Cats at Marvel.
Dogs, I think.
Are the Cats expecting anyone back this week?
Danger might be back.
But they lost Radigalia now.
Oh yeah, and against that sort of big forward line that
The
they have,
Astronauts,
Norton, Lob. Yeah, it's going to make it tough.
4 losses in a row, that would be for the Cats. I don't know if I can...
They're done, man.
It's against one of the most informed teams, apart from the loss against Gold Coast.
And Marvel as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with Georgie. I'm going with Doggies.
I'll go Cats.
The next one's interesting.
What's funny about that?
I don't know. I don't know either. I don't think it was that funny.
They're not winning that, bro. They're not winning that.
Dean's just doing the, if I say Geelong, then,
No, hang on
I
a
could be
second.
like, oh, well, if we're...
No, I'm actually not.
Bro, they
All
just lost to
I'm-
the Giants at home.
And I'm saying they're going to respond.
No,
The
they're
reigning
not.
premiers losing 4 in a row. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I know, but the reigning premiers are old, bro.
Yeah, no.
They're
Retirement
old
home,
as.
man. Let's get the bus back out,
Yeah.
Hey, look. It's my tip. I'll do what I want with it.
Hey, it doesn't count anyway, bro. It doesn't count.
Fair enough. Well, how about the next one then? Suns hosting the Crows.
That's hard, man. That's so hard.
Crows away from home.
Yeah,
are
let's go
different.
Suns, man. They're on a roll.
Let's go Suns.
They're on
Hey,
a
I'm
roll.
happy with that, man. Let's do Sunnies.
Suns, baby.
Chuck them Sunnies on.
All right. The Giants hosting the Tigers in the Toronto Hopper Cup. Hopper's out though. So
Oh,
is he?
yeah.
I
Nah,
don't-
probably. If
When's-
he,
is Josh Kelly back or no?
nah, he's got another 2-3 weeks out. I traded him for my team because he's out for like a month.
I like the Giants.
Yeah, I'm happy with the home team as well.
I'll go Giants as well.
Cool.
And then we end the round with the Bombers hosting North at Marvel.
It's so hard to say. It's so hard to say Essendon for me.
I would love to beat them. They've had our number over the last couple of years, like most teams have. We've been poor, but they've really bullied us.
Can you say Bombers so then I don't have to say it?
No.
I want the tip as well, but
Bruh, the Bombers, man. Come on.
Yeah, one of
George,
us-
we get one override. George is going to override both of our North.
No,
picks.
you know what? I'll go Bombers.
Done. I'm
I'll
going
go
with
Bombers.
North.
But I will say this: if North Melbourne stays in the game, again, I'll be happy. That's what I want to see as a bare minimum. Because, like I said, the Bombers have beat up on us over the last few years, like embarrassing losses. So make it competitive. Maybe the Bombers get really inaccurate and keep us in the game, and something can happen. I won't rule it out. I think we've been playing well enough lately that maybe a win's on the horizon if we can keep it up. But
I don't think they're going to smash her, but I think you got to tip it, man.
yeah, I think that's a fair tip.
Yeah, and that's it's weird that we're done with tips, man. There's only like 6 games or something.
I know.
Oh,
Should we do like
7.
a really quick, like touching base on the teams that are having the bye? So we'd say the Lions so far this year are a pass. Like they're sort of meeting their expectations.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dockers have just crept in the 8, so I think their trajectory is
Oh, yeah.
looking pretty good. Maybe they would have obviously liked to be matching what they were doing last year, which was a bit better at this time of year, but good on them. And the Saints ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they've kind of done the anti-Freo.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, well, since Freo started playing well, St Kilda are sort of starting to drop off. But yeah, still you'd be happy as a Saints fan with where the Saints are
It's
at.
funny listening to Ross Lyon's press conference. He's like, are we good? Are we bad? I don't really know. I guess we'll just take a break and come back and see what happens. It's like, how does this guy get away with saying that stuff?
Media loves him. Actually, can we quickly maybe just give a grade for each of these teams? So Brisbane, what would you give them so far this season?
All right, let's have a look. They are
like a letter grade.
third
Give
percentage,
him an A.
124.
Give him an A.
A?
A minus maybe.
I'll go A minus as well.
Yeah, I just think maybe it's just because of the last game that they should have just won against Adelaide. It's like that. Then there would have been an A because they'd be top 2.
Yeah, fair enough. What about Freo?
Freo
A C, maybe.
C.
As in like a pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna say C plus purely because they've started to play well, and you can see that the trajectory is onwards and upwards. But to this point of the season, you would have hoped they would have been more entrenched into the top 8.
Yeah, I think if you're in the 8, I'll give them a B minus. I think rough start, but they're playing really well lately.
Yeah,
Saints, I'll jump in first with this one. I'll give them an A
yeah,
straight up.
yeah. Fair enough.
No, I'll give him a B because
Oh.
are they in the 8 at the moment?
They're 5th, bro.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
fifth.
they're 5th.
I'm
What,
with you,
equal points or?
Yeah, they're. I guess they're literally only one win out of the 8, but that's only one team. Freo can. No, they can't even jump them because the percentage is better. Nah, that's an A. I thought St Kilda were going to be bottom 4 this year.
Yeah.
It's
A
an
B
A.
plus.
And then the Swans.
They've been shocking.
That's D plus.
What's Z? They give him a Z.
I'll give them an F, to be honest.
F. Wow.
They're out of the 8.
Yeah, fair
They were
call.
in the grand
fair
final.
call.
And not only that, they shouldn't have won last week,
Exactly.
like against North, Carlton or whatever. But they're not. Considering they were in the we would have thought them as potential winners of the flag this year. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair call.
There you have it. I think that wraps us up for today, boys, unless you had any other surprises. Any new segments?
Actually, nah, I'm done.
All good. Well, thanks everyone for watching and listening. I think we had a bit of fun on today's pod, covered quite a few topics, so please hit the subscribe button or the socials on the screen as well. But otherwise, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.